Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, California Weather Watch. Today's February 27th, and right now we are looking at the infrared satellite imagery. You can see the state of California. Check out the little cutoff low that could. It was with us for a while up the coastline, harmlessly moving to the south. Did drop a little bit of light precipitation there across Southern California yesterday, but it could bring better amounts across some of southern Arizona and a thunderstorm or two at that activity. But our main weather maker here is over the Pacific Ocean here. You can clearly see it. This strong frontal system, it's slow moving, but this is going to pack a wallop, folks, here. You can see the cold air spilling out over the Gulf of Alaska. It's powering this frontal system. This is going to make a track from Alaska right across Pacific and slam some very cold air aloft into the area. Some ridiculous precipitation amounts in the form of snow across the higher terrain and some very low snow levels at times. Thunderstorm potential with this system as well. We're going to dive into those details as we go through the video here today. Take a look at Northern California. Some of the heavy snowfall showing up down towards 1,000 feet, maybe even lower than that at times. And we got small hail thunderstorm threat all the way through Saturday. Significant risk impacts incoming here, folks. And the winter storm watch is up for much of Northern California, 2 to 4 feet above 2,000 feet here. And look at some of these snow levels getting down towards as low as 500 feet by Saturday. Now look at Sacramento. They are at the strongest point of their legend. Extreme impact Friday. Moderate to heavy rain for some of the lowest elevations, then the heavy to extremely heavy snow for higher elevations, and big wind gusts incoming. Snow levels generally between 2 and 4,000 feet. So this is different than past storms we've been getting this year. These snow levels are going to be quite noticeably lower at times. And look at by Saturday, perhaps dropping to as low as 1,000 feet. Now is the time to prepare, folks. Prepare your home, your vehicle, monitor the forecast, check back here daily. And I'm probably going to start doing 2 videos a day so you guys have the latest on this and have a plan and know your escape routes in and out, especially if you're across the higher terrain. Might be a time that you want to stay down at lower elevations here, folks, unless you are prepared in your home across the higher terrain. Now, looking at the snowfall forecast, Thursday a.m. through Sunday a.m., look at some of these ridiculous amounts showing up here, you guys. You're talking about 8+ feet for some areas, like at Truckee, Tahoe. You're looking at 40 to 57 inches, and a nice cross-section here by the National Weather Service Sacramento showing different snowfall amounts at different elevations. So here's that extremely heavy snow, and that's not 5 to 12 inches, folks. That's 5 to 12 feet. 5 to 12 feet above 5,000 feet, 1 to 4 feet above 3,000 feet there. Light accumulations down to 2 and wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour for the Sierra. This is 4 a.m. Thursday morning through 10 a.m. Sunday, March 3rd. Coastal rain starts even earlier Wednesday night. So near to impossible travel, whiteout conditions, big time travel delays. They will just shut down the roadways here, folks, and they're probably going to be doing that across the higher terrain. You may not be able to get back and forth. You may not be able to get out if you are across the higher terrain, so keep that in the back of your mind. Chain control is likely, and of course, I just talked about the road closures. Travel is highly discouraged. Now, looking at Thursday through Sunday, cold, wet, and windy. Look at some of the snow getting down to some of the higher hills and some of the coastal range as well. I will not be surprised to see some flakes flying on the higher hills, even around the Bay Area, with the track of this very cold air aloft is taking. Now, the high impact winter storm. This is Reno National Weather Service talking about blizzard conditions possible. Just wanted to point that out. Reno is included in that winter storm watch as of right now. And you can see high wind watches are already up. Portions of I-80 through Nevada already up. They're just getting ready. It's only Tuesday right now, but the storm is coming. Really good model agreement. I'll show you that here in a moment. But now let's look at the European. This is last night's run. In fact, let's update that because I believe we have new data, and we do. There's the 12Z run. So let's do this. Let's compare it versus itself yesterday. Let's look at 500 millibars, 18,000 feet. There is our very weak cutoff low off the coastline here. And you can see this tropospheric polar vortex just setting up shop here across the Gulf of Alaska, ushering in this very cold air mass. And look at this perfect track from Alaska all the way down into California as we go through this weekend. This is going to be ushering in some very cold air mass. It's not going to have much time to moderate, especially above the surface here of the Pacific Ocean. This is going to bring some low snow levels and just some amazing amounts of snowfall with it. And this is what's going to be happening. The Pacific Ocean isn't that warm, but compared to that Arctic air that's spilling off Alaska, it's quite warm. So that cold air over the relatively warm ocean is going to be moist. It's going to rise and condense into clouds, and then it's just going to get slammed into the terrain here. And even some of the coastal range, again, I have a hunch you might see some flakes into the lower hilltops there across maybe even the Bay Area. We'll see how that works. Don't hold me to it just yet. We're going to be revisiting that here as we go through tonight and tomorrow. Now, looking at 850 millibars, there's Washington, Oregon, California here. So I want to show you the track. There's Alaska up here. So this is what we're going to be watching, that very cold air spilling off of Alaska. And you got the European. In fact, let me update that as well because we have new data. This is the 12Z. Let's go ahead and compare it versus the GFS. There we go. Again, 5,000 feet. Here goes the strong frontal system. And look at this just amazingly cold air aloft just roll across the Pacific Ocean. I mean, you can't draw it up much better, folks. And look at how cold the air is, even for Alaska standards. So it's just going to be feeding across the Pacific Ocean, picking up that moisture, and just depositing this in just an epic snow-making machine right back into the state of California as we go on in through later this week, on in through the weekend. Just an amazing setup incoming. And that's why they're calling for such huge snowfall potential across the higher terrain. Now, looking at the GFS, this is hot off the presses. And in fact, let's just go ahead and do this. Let's just run the European. Why not? Because we got 12Z data now. Now, taking a look at Washington, Oregon, California here. There's that frontal system. First, it's going to be impacting the Pacific Northwest with strong winds, big mountain snows. And again, by Wednesday night, it's going to start impacting Northern California, slow moving, creeping its way down. Now we're late morning Thursday, and you can see that snow really starting to fly across the Sierra Nevada here by the time we get towards Thursday afternoon. And by the time we go to Thursday night, now we're into Friday morning. You can see it just slow moving. Will be snowing much of this time across Northern California. Continue to move down the Sierra Nevada all the way through Friday afternoon, all the way now into Saturday morning. This cold air still just piping into the region here, straight from Alaska and right up there near the North Pole, just pouring down into California. Just a very dynamic storm. And then you can see how things just want to remain active here as we go on into the next week upcoming here. Some additional systems might be rolling in here as well. We're looking a bit off into fantasy land here, but we could keep things active through the early portion of March. Now, looking at some of the snowfall totals here, let's actually update this because we have more recent data like I've been talking about. And there's the 12Z run. And look as we scroll through here, we're now on into Friday morning. You can see the snowfall really starting to fly across the Sierra Nevada. We scroll on in through Saturday morning and look at some of these snowfall amounts. The scale is completely pegged. We start to scroll over. Actually, let's go ahead a little bit more here. We'll go through Sunday evening and look at this. Some of these areas are showing well up over 100 inches of snow there. Yeah. So, of course, 10 feet would be 120 inches. So I don't know if we're going to get that much, but some really impressive snowfall amounts are showing up. And you can see a little bit of that teasing here on some of the higher hills, maybe into the lower elevations. We'll see how that trends here. Don't hold me to that GS yet. I'm getting a little bit of a hype forecast going there. But you see, the Sierra Nevada is virtually guaranteed for just some ridiculously huge amounts of snowfall incoming here. And now we'll look across some of central and southern California here, and you'll see, again, the Sierra Nevada just going to get absolutely plastered. We're still in some question on just how much of the snowfall is going to translate down towards Southern California, but we'll be watching that here over the next couple days. Let's not get caught up in those details just yet, but there is some snowfall potential there. Now, if we take a look at the lightning flash density potential, I just want to bring this up for Arizona's sake, at least initially. There's the cutoff low. You can't rule out a thunderstorm this afternoon, somewhere out towards the Salton Sea there, maybe across some of the higher terrain there, maybe Baja. But then as we go on in through Wednesday, you'll see some of this thunderstorm activity kick across southern Arizona. So you can actually get, actually a pretty good amount of lightning showing up there, and then maybe off into New Mexico a bit. But now as we go on in through Thursday, check it out. You'll see things start to destabilize by the time we get towards Friday across some of Northern California here. You can see it picking up here. You can't rule out a thunderstorm there on the day Friday or on the day Saturday here. Maybe some of you guys, lucky people up there across the Sierra Nevada, will even get a shot of thunder snow at some point this weekend. Now, taking a look at the upper levels of the atmosphere, 500 millibars, 18,000 feet. There's Alaska, there's BC, Washington, Oregon, California here. So this is what's coming. You can see that cold air spilling off the coastline there. And look at this trajectory. Look at this at 18,000 feet. It's just perfect. You can't set up the snow machine any better than this. I mean, you're talking about 129 knots there at 18,000 feet. So you're looking at about 145 miles per hour, just a rough wag off the top of my head. I'm not sure. I'm just kind of guessing there. But this is almost like a cross-polar flow, kind of coming from Siberia as well. Just absolutely perfect. So a lot of cold air aloft is going to be powering powering that snow machine, and that's why the totals are showing up so hot and heavy. So let's zoom in a little bit here. We're looking now at 30,000 feet, and we got Alaska. There's California here. So we put this into motion, and you can see that cross-polar flow right there at 30,000 feet, just absolutely driving this vigorous jet stream across western Alaska out over the Pacific Ocean, probably approaching, 190 miles per hour at times in the upper levels of the atmosphere, just ripping that right back into California there. So just interesting looking at that. This is the northern hemisphere. You can see the North Pole would be about here, and Japan is way over here. You can see Africa over there, and there's California in the Pacific Ocean. So apparent temperature at the surface, this GFS, hot off the presses, 12Z run. Here's California here, and look at that cold air spill out over the water. And, as the lower levels here are moving over the Pacific Ocean, they get moderated, but it's pretty incredible that you can actually see that cold air make its way towards the coastline here. And watch as we go on towards the weekend. It kind of continues as we keep things quite raw here across especially central and northern California. Again, the potential for some quite low snowfall or quite low snow levels, let's say. Taking a look at 80-meter wind speeds as well. I want to show you guys this fanning out. Look at that cold air spilling out. This is at the surface, right off the surface of the Pacific Ocean here. As we go through Thursday, you can really see that power back into the state here. So just interesting stuff. But it's going to look at these visual indicators of what is to come. Now, taking a look at 850 millibars, again, just trying to marvel at this. There's Alaska, there's California here. There's that polar lobe that impacted the Pacific Northwest yesterday. And look at that cold air spill out. I mean, this is just beautiful. I could just watch this all day long. Look at that cold air just spilling out over the ocean and right back into California. You cannot design a better snowmaking machine here, folks, with that Arctic air rolling out, picking up Pacific moisture, and just slamming back into the Sierra Nevada and a lot of the coastal range here in Northern California. So looking at some of the amounts here at Truckee, Tahoe, I just wanted to show you that, the European ensemble basically agrees with that. Just ridiculous amounts as we start to go through the end of this week. Donner Summit, we're going to start picking things up here. And we'll be watching this. I'll update this every time I do a video. We'll take a look at these snow levels. They're going to be dropping down here. And then you can see that precipitation in the form of snow start to ramp up here. And we'll be watching the webcams each time too. You can see everything is all right now. If you need to travel, it's probably best to do it today or tomorrow, aside from any closures that may be out there. Looks like there's some traffic out here right now and not, but you can see the conditions are going to be okay here for today and tomorrow for the most part. But by the time you get towards Thursday and Friday, things are going to be changing, and I have a feeling I-80 is going to be closed at least some of the time. So same thing, we'll do that for Mono County and whatnot too. You can see Sesame Plot there. But the 3 to 7 day hazard outlook kind of showing the same thing there as well as the gusty winds out there anyway. But 6 to 10 day, there should be no surprise here. As you guys saw, there's additional systems potentially moving in the future. And we're probably going to go above average here across much of the Sierra Nevada. We've done really well in February. We've really ramped things up here, doing quite nicely. And we're probably going above the 50th percentile here almost for sure after this storm wraps up as we go through this weekend. So yeah, interesting time here, folks. I mean, if you're off in the Sierra Nevada, by the time it starts snowing, you're probably going to be stuck there for a few days. I know a lot of my viewers are out there across some of the Sierra Nevada, and I know you guys know what to do. Just be prepared with the extraordinary amount of snowfall that falls. You know what that can do. It can block even the driveways, and just those small roads can just become impassable out there, and you may not be able to get out. Now is the time to prepare for this extraordinarily huge amount of snowfall coming in for the Sierra Nevada. I hope I've made myself clear here, folks. Do not get caught off guard by this storm. You need to be prepared to spend several days without access to the outside world there across the Sierra Nevada. So anyway, I'll probably do another video here tonight. We'll check things out. We'll break things down again. If not, I will definitely do one tomorrow morning as per usual. Hope you guys are enjoying the channel. Leave some comments below. Let me know you guys are living, and once the storm gets going, let me know what you guys are seeing, and we'll do this again either tonight or tomorrow, and I'll talk to you guys then.